Okay, so I was just going to do a very quick flyby of ARIA, focusing mainly on the stuff that you'd need for access management and facility management. But this is really kind of a Cassini flyby whistle-stop tour. So we'll go into more detail a bit further on. Some of the later presentations are going to be covering very specific aspects of new developments and features. But we're going to have a Q&A, so please sing out and let me know if there's anything you particularly want to look at later on. So starting from the beginning, you've all used ARIA, but you're probably only using ARIA for very specific things. We focus around 4 main pillars in ARIA: facility management, access management, data management and community, easy for me to say, which is this, but actually is more like this. So this is very quickly, this is our shock and awe slide. Some of you have probably seen it before because we use this in pretty much every presentation. But the idea here is it gives you some idea of just how large the scope of ARIA actually is, and you probably are only using 1 or 2 bits. If you're managing your facility internally, you're probably only using this little section here. If you're just managing access, you're probably just using this little section here. But there really is quite a lot. You probably haven't touched the community tools or the data management tools, which is a smaller section, but we are growing. So really, we're just going to focus on the top half of this diagram for now, and then even only that, just a small portion of it. So access workflow, you'll probably be familiar with, or hopefully some of you will be familiar with. But this is just the idea of how you would use ARIA to manage access. Again, this slide is probably quite familiar to you, but you would typically open a call, which is defining your service catalog. You would be using some of the community tools. So this is, we've got CRM system, which you may not be familiar with. This allows you to announce your calls. The user will come along to apply. This will be discussed in a little bit more detail later. Now, this is the bit we're going to talk about today primarily, which is how the access is going to be managed at the back end. And then visit management. Again, this is on the facility side, and we'll be discussing that in a bit. And then reporting. Now, this again, reporting. You may or may not be familiar with this, but ARIA does have quite significant and useful reporting, including Horizon 2020 reporting, which we can go into detail if you'd like. But just as an FYI, it is there. This is all securely maintained, and the messaging system, which we'll go on to in a bit, is also there for you, and that's GDPR compliant and again hosted and secure. So user roles. This is something that gets a bit confusing, especially seeing as some people have multiple roles within the system. But primarily, we've got, on the access side, we've got 3 main types of user. We've got the access administrator, which is generally 1 or 2 people, and they oversee the general flow of access within the system. They have the highest level of permissions, and the other thing they do is they assign the moderators. Moderators are there to manage the review process, and they're the ones who finally action a proposal, say thumbs up or thumbs down, and they assign the reviewers who are used for scientific review. And then the reviewer, one or more reviewers are always assigned to a proposal, and they submit their review through a customizable form. So people are sometimes unaware that the forms, every form you see in ARIA is customizable. And this can be done by the access administrator generally. So you don't need to email us to do it. You can just go ahead and change the forms as you like. And that includes review forms. So start off to manage a proposal, a new proposal. You'd be using this something that looks like this. This is our proposal management backend. I won't go into too much detail here, but you can find it under the access proposals here. It lists all access to your access route, and you've got a lot of options here. Again, something to draw your attention to is this little drop down here, which sometimes people miss. We're going to probably change this to make it a little bit more visible. But so you've got these action buttons, and the primary control is always the one that is visible. But you've got a whole load of different options hidden behind this drop down. So if you're struggling to find something, you might find it here, and that would be things like contact the applicant and various other things. So a access administrator will then assign a moderator. So again, they would go to their moderator assignment section, click on their assigned moderator, and then they'd be able to select from one of the moderators based on their expertise. The moderator would then come in. They would see their the proposals they need to look at in the same section. They'd be able to select the reviewers, and again, similar drop down, and that'd be sort of configured from the pool of reviewers on the access route. And then finally, reviewing a proposal, the reviewer would come in. They would they would submit their review based on their configurable form. Again, this is just to highlight, this is entirely configurable. Simple example here, but these forms can and do get quite long and complicated. So once that's done, once the reviews are all in, you get an email saying that time to do something, and then you can either action the proposal, or they can action the proposal, and they can either approve or reject at this stage. So some tools that you can help. There's not an exclusive list, but it's just a couple to highlight from the access side. Messaging. We've done a lot of work on this recently to make it a little bit more useful in terms of being able to see whether messages have been delivered, who is actually receiving messages, who needs to be chased up, that sort of thing. We'll come on to this in more detail later. And then reporting, again, highlighting the reporting, which is something folks miss or can miss from time to time. We've got a lot of different reports that can be generated within ARIA just out of the box. And we're always looking to improve those. So if there's a particular report that you desperately need in, then give us a shout through the user group, and we'll look into those. So managing access from your facility. Again, two main groups of user. We've got the facility service technology managers. And these have a higher level overview of all the machines in the facility. And then you've got the specific machine administrators who handle the individual machines, sort of day-to-day operations. We manage external and internal access through the same sort of tools. So you will see this visit management. This is for the external visits separate from the bookings, but we'll come on to the unified view in a little bit. But both internal and external views on the machine have sessions, and these sessions allow you to give customizable granular checkpoints on your machines, configurable per machine by you. This is useful for making sure that your workflows are consistent, capturing any information that you may need. You can register expenditure against these for your own records. And so it's actually quite configurable and useful. This view, let's just have a quick look on this screen. This is an updated screen, so you'll see the current session. This is visible to the user as well, so we'll come into that in a little bit as a further presentation. And then we've got a few extra things here, which we'll come on to a little bit later. This is part of some of our new functionality we're working on. A lot of this is optional, so you may not see this, and so you have to kind of switch these things on. But there's quite a lot of stuff kind of under the hood here that we can go on to in the Q&A if you're interested. So yes, machine workflows. This is an example of a machine workflow. So we've got 2 sessions on the same machine, or two sessions in the visit, I should say. And each session can have multiple stages, booking step, where the user would be invited to actually book a session on the machine. And then you can have per session feedback reporting. This is optional. You can turn that on and off if you like. So this is the unified view. This is the session dashboard. This will show both internal and external requests on the machine. And we've got color-coded, but depending on what step. If it's related to a visit or a proposal, you'll see it here. And then you'll see the current step and everything like that. Again, tools to help, not an exclusive list. This is for visits. So we've got invoice management here. This is basically allows you to flag whether you've invoiced for a visit and what status that's in. This is to help with bookkeeping. You can turn that on if you like. And then you're probably familiar with booking calendar. But this will, with the booking steps in the workflow that we've just talked about, this will also show both internal and external access requests on machines. And this came from the ARIA user group. Again, this is a demonstration of that feedback. This is a request from our user community to allow granular outage reporting on machines. So this is for example, if you wanted to categorize why an outage occurred. So perhaps you were wanting to report that back to the manufacturer. So this is again all configurable and available to you. And that was a whistle-stop tour. These are the familiar faces that you may or may not have communicated with. You've got myself in the middle there, which is a terrible photo. I do apologize for that one. I don't think I brushed my hair that day. And then the rest of the team who you've probably spoken to on Freshdesk. We talk to us. And we will be, you'll be hearing from us through presentations throughout the rest of the day. So with that, I will go to Q&A. So if you've got any questions now, then fire them